good morning, good evening, wherever you're listening in from around the world, and a very warm welcome to yet another Common Europe webinar. I'm Jonathan, as I mentioned earlier. I'm the executive assistant here at Common Europe. So before we start today's webinar proper, I'd just like to hand you over to our president, Ranga Deshpande, for a brief introduction to our organization. Ranga, it's all yours.
Thank you, Jonathan. Guys, welcome on my part. And I'm Ranga Deshpande, President of Common Europe. And some of you might not know what Common Europe is. So just a small introduction. We are an umbrella organization of 18 European countries, and especially for the IBM Power Systems, IBM I, AIX, and Linux. And we are 18 user groups. The countries are right in the west, Portugal to Spain, and in the east up to Russia, and Norway in north to Italy in south. Our mission is to advance the professional development of our community through educational activities. Our annual flagship event is the Common Europe Congress, held normally in June. And I say held normally because since last year, COVID has disrupted everything, and I will come to it in my next slide. Then we have the I2. This event happens in autumn every year, and one or two sponsors go around the countries to give education. Then we also have the webinars, and the webinars, that is something which we are attending today, and they are from sponsors as well as from IBMers, and IBMers keep us abreast with latest topics. Next, since 2019, we have started a new activity, the Executive Day, that happens during the Congress. It is targeted at CIOs and IT directors to discuss strategy with top IBMers or discuss their concerns and issues with their peers. And of course, all these activities offer extensive networking opportunities. We all know that networking is the essential part of our events, where we exchange ideas and discuss solutions with our colleagues from other companies or from other countries. Alas, we are missing it now since 1 year. And last, we have the Common Europe Advisory Council. It consists of about 15 European technical experts from our user groups. IBM developers discuss current and future strategies with them in monthly calls and 2 face-to-face meetings. Then I suppose all of you know the request for enhancements process, where you can formally submit improvements to IBM product development teams. The second important mission of the Advisory Council is to watch all the RFPs coming and then select the best ones or the ones having highest votes and prioritize them for IBM developers. You can Google QRadar, and with their QRadar, you will have more information about the RFEs. Then I had talked to you about our annual flagship event, the Common Europe Congress. Last year, we couldn't do it in person due to COVID, and it was replaced by a virtual event in November, and we had 700 registrations. This year's Congress was scheduled from 13 to 16 June, and we hope that we will be able to do it in June in person. But then we are seeing that there are problems all the countries over for the vaccinations. So we are going to postpone that. And for the in-person event, that will be end of October, and we will give you more information about it soon. Jonathan?
So, as I was saying to myself anyway, today's webinar is titled Boost Your Existing Enterprise Monitoring Solution with Hundreds of IBM I Checks. The presenter is Pascal Ruckebusch. Now, Pascal is the founder and CTO of M81 and has 29 years of experience on IBM and in the development of system products. He's supported today by Bruno Taverne, the Sales and Partners Manager, who will be running the polls and is available to answer your questions via the chat box in French and English. Karl-Heinz Prisching, the M81 agent for DAC, is also on hand if you have questions or comments in German. So, without further ado, I'll hand you over to Pascal. Pascal, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first, I'm Pascal Ruckebusch, CTO of M81. We are a French company based in Lyon for our offices, and we are editor of IBM technical softwares. We have currently 3 softwares. One is Control4i, that's the one I will talk to you in a few minutes. The second one is Flash4i. The goal is to use the flash copy or snapshot technology to create a clone of the partition and make the backups, for example, without to stop the production, even if save 21 every day. And the third one is Recover4i, where the goal is to give a solution to people having cold backup, so only backups on tapes, and to recover their data from the database back to a few minutes before the crash, when they have a crash. So today the goal is to talk about Control4i. Control4i is a perfect tool to perfect product to combine IBM and Nagios. Nagios or any kind of product like this. There are many products that are monitoring infrastructure, and well, they do many things except controlling or monitoring IBM. What we do is bring this. So many of you in your company already have something to monitor the infrastructure. The best known product is Nagios, but there are many other names or other products. Centrio in France, Singa in Germany, Schinken in UK, for example, or in many countries, Zabbix, CheckMK. All those are under Linux. POTG is under Windows. So there are many tools or many products checking the infrastructure. In most of your company, you are already using this. Maybe IBM specialists don't know it because that's another team managing it, but probably you have. And you check, your company checks everything that has an IP address except IBM, or most of the time. So what we do, we bring you Control4i, which will be the contact and the link between, I will say Nagios for all the time of this presentation, but remember that it's there are many other products that do the same. So between Nagios and the IBM, there's one connector, which is Control4i, and this will allow you to check whatever you want inside the IBM. When I say whatever you want is if a program can be written on IBM to check something, then we can check it into Nagios with Control4i. So what does Control4i? It brings you a lot of controls, more than 100, in fact, more than 130, and it's growing, not every day, but it's growing regularly. When do we have to use this? Well, every time you want to monitor something on the IBM, in the IBM, the system, disk space or CPU, your applications, what is the number of commands today, or for example like this, the messages, the queues, the high availability products, Mimix, QuickEDD, Itera, your EDI product, your backups, if batch has worked, etc. So there are many examples. This is the part that is in conjunction with Nagios. there's another part where you have, there's a little module where you can automatically answer to your messages, to inquiry messages, or call a program or call a command when some message comes, and do that automatically. We are compatible with most of the solutions in the place. So PRTG for the Windows world, Nagios, and every fork on Nagios, or most of the fork of Nagios. So if you have something that is not mentioned, or if you have any question, just ask us, and we will see if we can use Control for I in your tool. That's a real product. That's not only a tool, even if sometimes I say a tool. That's a real product with versions, with everything is in parameters, so there's nothing or close to nothing to program. When I say close to nothing, you will see later that it's possible for you to write programs or to write scripts. But with the base product, it's not necessary. There's documentation of close to 200 pages in French and in English, though. So there are 2 documentations, and we provide support. And the product is very easy to install, very easy to understand and to use. And it's performant. We developed the agent. We need an agent, and the agent is a multi-threaded program. So there's not a lot of jobs and submitted jobs that are running. Only 2 jobs in our subsystem, that's all. We already have, already for a few years now, we have more than many references and more than 150 partitions that are using our product. Okay, so how does it work? Here's the infrastructure. You have one Nagios server or anything else on Linux or Windows. So this is the product that will pull and check if everything is okay. Usually it's used for Windows or Linux, for example, Windows or Linux servers to make a ping. And just if the ping is okay, it means that the server is active. Or check for a Windows server if services are okay, if I don't know, but many things. And for all the systems, we can find many plugins, specific plugins to check many things, many different things. What we did on this is to, and here you have represented 1 for our server and 2 IBM partition, just for the example. So what we have, we provide in the product 1 plugin. Most of the time, you need 1 plugin to do 1 check. So if you want to check 10 different things, you need 10 different plugins. A plugin is a program. What we do, we provide only 1 plugin. So just 1 time to go on the Nagios server to make some configuration. And this plugin will do all the rest. Then on every partition, you have to install 1 library and start a subsystem with 2 jobs. One of these jobs is the agent. The agent is the job that will wait for the plugin to send him questions. The agent will answer to the plugin and give the information to Nagios. Our prods, everything is developed in native IBM language, so RPG, CL. We use lots of APIs. So it's developed, it's written into the IBM. That's the main difference. So you don't have, for IBM specialists, you don't have to test to connect on a Linux platform to try a command, check subsystem, and dash subsystem name and dash L for library and dash etc. So this is a completely different language. You don't need to do that. You don't have to do that. All you will have to do is know the IBM commands that we deliver. So that's the monitoring tool, Nagios, that will manage to say in the Nagios parameters, you say, I want to check if subsystem QBatch is active every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, Nagios will call the plugin and connect to every partition that have been defined to check, to send the command that checks if the subsystem is active. The agent take the command, run the command, get back the message, and send back the message to the plugin. And then the plugin gives it to Nagios, and Nagios will say, it's okay, it's not okay, do I have to send an email or not, etc. So, control for I, it allows you to monitor anything, and we use commands. Those commands are developed in IBMI. They are natural for IBMI specialists. It's very easy to integrate in Nagios and very, very simple to set up. Globally, less than 1 hour or around 1 hour to do all the setup. After, we can start checking. And you probably already have some programs on your system where you check something. If that's not a specific check, if that's only to work system status and get the percentage of usage of disk space, then we give it, so we have it. But if that's a specific check that you run for your application, then probably in half an hour, we can transform your program into one new probe in Nagios. It's very easy. And you can develop your own checks and integrate them in the product. So it's the monitoring product for IBMI and for IBMI specialists, and developed by IBMI specialists. How does it work? In the library, we give a list of commands, and all those commands are traditional IBMI commands. For example, here we have the command to check if a subsystem is active. You can see that there are several parameters. You can use only the first line, so check that QBatch is active, and that's all. So pressing enter, you have the answer, yes, it's active, or no, it's not. And there are several other parameters. And in the other parameters, for example, you may say that you want to check that QBatch is active, and those 3 jobs are also active right now, so all the time, in fact. With this, in one command, so in one check, you have 4 controls. You check that QBatch is active, and you check that those 3 jobs are also active in this subsystem. The answer is this one. So when you press enter, you get the message, okay, subsystem is active, and 3, well, this is when it doesn't work. So in our case, that's an error. We say that QBatch is active, that's okay, but there are 3 jobs missing. And in the message, we have the name of the jobs. So if there's only 1 job missing, we have 1 job missing, and you have the name of the job that is missing. So you have all those information. Those information are the one that you will find in Nagios. So in Nagios, in the screen, you will have this message clearly. I will show you a demonstration in a few minutes. And this message is the one that Nagios will send you by email if you say that you want to receive an email, or automatically integrate it into your ticketing product. So how do we configure Nagios? In our example, we don't use Nagios, but one of the fork of Nagios, which is Centreo. So I will show you with Centreo, but it's exactly the same way to work. The interface is different, but it works the same. So what we have with this command, when we press F9, we have this command. So you see the command itself. That's a very traditional IBMI command. I will copy this command. So select the text and copy it. This is a screen in Centreo to create a new service. A service is a check, something that I want to check. So I give a name here. I give here the list of the systems of the host where I want to run the check, the service. There are some parameters And here you can see that I have to give a check command. This is the name of the plugin that Nagios will use. In our case, the plugin will always be check control for I. That's the only plugin to use. And for this plugin, we have one parameter, and the parameter is an IBM command. So you probably found that the IBM command is the one that we have earlier. We have tested earlier. So this command, I copy it on my 5250 session, and I paste it here in the value. And that's all. That's the only thing that is specific to control for I. The rest is the normal setup of Centreo or Nagios or whatever tool you use. So when you validate this, the Centreo will start to, Nagios will start to monitor, call at a regular interval, call this plugin with this parameter, and the plugin will contact the partition, run the command, get the message, and put it into Nagios. The result is this one. So here you can see that we have some checks, some parameters, or some services, and you see the answer. And the answer is like this. You can see the text. You see the flash system, the flash provide subsystem is running, and all required jobs are active. And you see the CTL 1017. This is a message ID. So that's the message ID coming from the agent and from our command. So service name, status, and the status here is all okay, but there you know if it's warning or critical. So if it's okay, not very good, or very bad. And here the message generated on the IBM partition. What are the statuses? You have three types of status. One is okay, means everything is good. One is warning. It means, for example, in this case, it could be that there's only one job active, or that's only for a test subsystem, so it's only warning. And critical, this means there's a real problem and you have to connect to the system and check what's happening. Before to go further, I will go into a demonstration mode. So for those of you who do not know what is Nagios, what is Centreo, and what can do that kind of tool, I will show you here. So this is the main screen, and you have things that you can put there to have your own screen. But most of the time, when you want to check, you will come here to see the status, the detailed status of every services. One service is one check. So if I take this, remember that the goal of that tool is to say, to check every time, to check every minute or every 5 minutes what is going on, and to give you the alerts to say there are some problems. So the first thing we see here are unhandled problems, all the problems that you have to know and where you have something to do. In this case, we have 4 problems that are critical and 1 issue that is in a warning status. This is one of many, because you can see here there are 4 critical, 1 warning, and 50 checks, so 50 services overall. What I will do to go further, I will say that I want to see all. So we will see the OK status and critical status together. Now, the first thing is the Centreo itself. We don't care. We don't care for this demonstration, but you could have hundreds of servers and thousands of checks if you want. So I just will want to see prod, which is our production system. So in this case, you see all the services that are okay, services that are in critical mode, and you have the messages here. And for all of them, you can have statistics and information. For example, here you have a graph. So I said it's our production system. In fact, the name is prod, but that's our demonstration system. So there's no one working on it. But we can have statistics here with the ping, for example. Okay. And for every service, you have several details with date and time of last check, next check, etc. So you have many information. What I showed you right before is how to configure it. I will take the same example, system QBatch with 3 jobs, which is this one. Currently, it's warning because I said that I wanted to have it warning, and those jobs don't exist, so that's why it's warning. If I look at the service itself, these are current information, and in the bottom, I can see the definition, and in the definition, I can see that the plugin used is check control for I. It uses the IP address of the partition, and there's one command, and this command is the one from the IBM, from control for I product. If I copy this, I use Control C, and I will go to an IBM session. I paste just to have the command, and that's an IBM command. That's the one I showed you earlier with all the parameters. So now it says that there are 3 jobs missing, but I can remove those jobs. The rest of the command is the same, and now it's okay because subsystem QBatch subsystem is active. If I stop, I will not end it immediately because you will see that, okay, here, QBatch is there, and there's one job, and this job is in message wait status because there's a trouble with this job. So we have a command, which is check message wait, and this command, without any other parameters, tells me that there's one job in message wait, and we have the name of this job. Okay, if I use the same command, this command has also some parameters, and I can use the command to say, okay, I want to check in all the systems or any subsystem if there are message waits or not, or only QBatch, or everything except QBatch. And there, everything except QBatch, there are no jobs in message wait status. And if I end the subsystem immediately, there's no more. I take back the first command, check subsystem, I press F4, check subsystem QBatch. I want to check that it's running, and there I have an error. The subsystem is inactive. Okay, so what we provide is that kind of commands. If I come back to Centrion, I will come back to the list of services, unhandled problems, and we should see in a moment. I will help it because otherwise it's too long. Normally there are other, well, just subsystem is active. I will help it to have the answer quickly here. So this one should come to critical in a few seconds now. We just have to wait. Now it's critical, with the same message here as the one we have seen on the 5250 session. The CTL 1012 is the message ID. If I press F1 here, oh no, that's not the same. Well, that's not the same because in this command I said warning. So if I remove the warning, that's a CTL 1012. Okay, so as a first conclusion, we have IBMI commands on the IBMI. We can use those commands, we can check them, we can run them all the time we want. And when we have the right syntax and the right information, all we have to do is select the text, copy, come to Centreon, and create a new service. I will create here in configuration a service by host. These are the definition. I will add a new one. The name is command batch. It will run on prod only, but you have seen the rest of the partitions or servers that I use. I will also use a template. The goal of the template is not to have to enter every parameter. Oh, not the one. Sorry. Not this one, this one. Okay. And the command is control provide. Check control provide. Then there's one parameter. Come here. I will paste the text that I copied before. That's this command. And that's all. And now we have a new control that is command batch, and which is enabled. So now we have a new control. Okay, that's as easy as this. Okay, if I come back to the presentation, we have seen those three types of status. Just according to the tool you have or to the product you have, they just show the result. Most of the time, you are able to send an email to a listed person. Sometimes the product will automatically create a ticket in your ticketing product. So there are many things possible in this kind of products. So what we provide a lot of controls, a lot of commands. They are all beginning with CT because we choose to have those two letters in beginning, and we check many things. So this is a little example of what kind of checks you can run. I showed you the check message wait to check the jobs that are in message wait status. I showed you the check subsystem, which is somewhere. Don't know where, but it's there. Check here, monitor subsystems. You also can monitor individual jobs, if users are disabled or not. The batch, if a batch job has run during the night, etc. You also can check quick editing and mimics. So if I come back to the 5250 screen, this is our main menu. This is the menu of control for I. The option 1 is for managing the product, so start and stop the subsystem and some parameters, not just a few. And all the rest of the menu is only there to remind you what are the commands that we deliver, that you have and that you can use. They are only there to avoid you to open the documentation and look in the documentation. They are there, so just have to go into this option and you will see the commands that are there. So it reminds you, it's easier than looking at the documentation. And there you have the command and you can enter the parameters. And you can use this command all the time you want. You can use it 50 times. That's not a problem. That's only a check. And when you have the right parameters, you copy them and put them in your Nagios or whatever. I know some persons, some customers, where they are IBM specialists. They know their job, they know their system, but they don't want to. They don't want, or they cannot enter or go in the configuration of their Nagios because it's for several reasons. In this case, what we propose and what you can do is have an Excel sheet, and in this Excel, give the name of the control, the name you want to give to the control, give this command, say when you want to check, so every day only during the working hours, or only in the morning because you want to check the backups, etc. So you have this Excel and you give to the team whatever they want to check. Okay, there are checks for the backup if you want to check your backup with BRMS or without BRMS. There are checks with high availability with QuickUDD and Mimix, and soon for the other products. There are other checks, etc. So many things. We also provide checks to control M3, the ERP from Info. So there are several things. So more than 130 different checks, and some are still in development, so we add some all the time. And I told you before, you have the ability to create your own programs. If you have one existing program on IBM that say yes, no, or 0 or 1, or it's okay or wrong, then just 30 minutes and we create a new prob and you integrate it yourself if you want in Control4i. We provide templates. So we give the examples of one command and one CL, and in the documentation we say exactly how to do that. And you can develop in your own language, RPG, COBOL, CL, or C++, or Java if you want on your system. You don't have to do anything on the Linux side. Okay. So in this monitoring tool in Control4i, you have seen many commands that are specifically done to integrate into Nagios. We also have two different modules. One is to manage messages. Most of you want to check messages in message queues and all messages anywhere. And if that's an inquiry message, make an automatic answer. So one part of Control4i allows this. That's a specific model which needs some more parameters. So in this case, you give a list of message ID, and you can use generic message IDs, and we provide some specific names. And for all of them, you may just say, I want to have an alert like this, a critical or warning alert, and we check those messages. Those messages we also can answer. So just provide an alert that we will find in Nagios, or automatically answer to a message, or call a program. So even if that's not an inquiry message, that's just an information message. But when this message appears, then we can call a program, one of your program, or a system command. And we can do that several times. For example, you may say, if this message appears, that this message, for example, the CPA 5305, that's the file is full, so no place to add records. In this case, you may say, for 10 times, I add one increment. So I add records. And after 10, I stop to answer, and I want to send an email to say that there's a problem, or just create an alert that will be in Nagios. So you have the ability to change many things and define the actions you want to have. Okay, we may track the message queues, QC software, for example, or any other message queue like backup or your own message queue. We also track messages in job logs. If you have one job that is active, we can read the job log of this active job and check if there's one message coming in it. And we also check the system log, so the display log command message in QHST. When you define a message, you will have many things to parameter. The first thing is the message ID with some specific value or generic names. You may say that in this message, I want to have this information. For example, here, that's the message saying that there's no, well, the file is full. I want to answer or to have this alert only if the file is article, or only if it comes from this job or from this user profile. If that's one of the specific keyword, any or inquiry or reply, you may say only for severity higher than 40 or 50, for example. So you have several parameters. And I didn't show the screen, but there are, you can select actions. I can show you there. You see the column, number of automatic action. You can see that for this message, there are 2 automatic actions, and for those, there are not. Maybe I can show you directly, quickly, up here. That's in this one, sales application. This one, you can see the 2 automatic actions. And if I look at the actions, the first one is from occurrence 1 to 6, so 6 times, I will answer 1 to add 1 increment. That's an answer. And the 6th time, when the same message appears 6 times from the same job, we will answer 1 and we will send the command. And the command will be, in our case, just a send break message, but it could be anything that you do. It could be a program, for example, one of your programs. So you have there the ability to do many things for any kind of message coming in a job log, in a message queue, or in the system log. Okay, and the second part, another bonus, is that we are allowed to check the library size. So you can define some libraries or the number of libraries you want with the size, the limit size that you want to have, and we check every day if the library is under this limit. And this is the result. This is over the limit, and it's critical. This one, QGPL, is over the limit, but it's only warning. And the results are available in display mode. So this one, so on the 5250 screens, or with 2 commands to use in Nagios. One to check if there's an alert, so if it's not green here, and another one to check the evolution. So how did it evolve since last time? In this case, you can see that control for I is 3% bigger today than yesterday. Okay, what are the prerequisites? You need to have an IBM I in version 7 release 1. That's already an old version, so, and the same product, same programs is compatible with 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. You need to have a monitoring tool, sure. So one of those, not only one of those, these are an example, a list of examples, but most of those working like Nagios are okay. And some extra like PRTG, like Service Nav from CoServit, or we are working today with SolarWinds and trying to have it work. Should be okay next week, etc. For your own tool, just contact us and we will tell you if it's okay or not. You can buy one license and annual maintenance, or have a subscription, so rent the product depending on what you prefer. We can do a better demonstration, so go deeper than what I did here, and you could have it for test on your own system for a while. And we provide installation, training, or operating. In fact, when I say we provide, our main channel to sale is through a channel of partners. So we have several partners all around Europe, and one in the United States, to distribute and install and configure our product. So ask your partner, maybe they have. Otherwise, they could be our partner later.
Yes.
We already have a lot of customers. This is only a part of the list, but maybe according from the country you come, you could recognize some of those customers. And on the presentation, I guess you will have the presentation later.
Yes.
Ranga or Jonathan, we will send it to you, so you have our, you know, how to contact us. French and English for both of us, and German and English for Karl-Heinz. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. I hope it was okay for you.